The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone, here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Chris Barton.
We begin this morning with your 17 Court Watch. A decision expected today on whether to potentially retry Wendy Howard for the shooting death of her ex-boyfriend, Kelly Pitts. A jury in October acquitted Howard of first and second degree murder, but deadlocked 7-5 in favor of guilt for voluntary manslaughter in the heat of passion. Howard testified she confronted Pitts in June of 2019 about the molestation of their then teenage daughter and then shot him as he drove toward her on an ATV. Defense attorneys say Howard suffered horrific abuse when she dated Pitts for a couple years beginning in 2003. They say Howard knew Pitts was capable of violence and armed herself before confronting him in case she needed to defend herself. Howard claimed she feared for her life when she fired. Today, we're expected to find out whether Howard's case will be retried, dismissed, or reach a possible plea agreement.
Conservation groups are suing the city of Bakersfield for diverting water from the Kern River and ignoring the harm it would do to the community and wildlife. According to the SJVwater.com, the lawsuit was filed Wednesday in Kern County Superior Court by Bring Back the Kern River Parkway Foundation, Kern Kauai chapter of the Sierra Club, and Kern Audubon Society. They say the river is completely dry near Bakersfield because of diversions for agricultural use, and they're seeking greater protections for the river.
Your time now, 5:04. The Bakersfield Police Department is getting some help from private security agencies in keeping downtown safe. 17's Marco Torres reports it's nothing new, but their presence for some is more visible.
Transwest Security is contracted with the city of Bakersfield and has partnered with the Bakersfield Police Department since September of 2019.
So we are using Transwest across the city. We meet with them on a weekly basis, and we use data to drive where our points of emphasis are, or areas of emphasis for Transwest for that week.
Transwest brings about a dozen more officers to assist with low-level emergencies like accidents, crime reports, and fights across the city. They also help businesses by moving homeless out of the area.
Head to the auto mall at Gasoline Alley off of Pacheco and Harris. And so basically when we pull into a parking lot like this, we're looking for, people sleeping on the sidewalks or in the parking lot or around the building.
Transwest has gone to thousands of incidents across our city that police officers did not have to go to, did not need to go to. They've provided and been sources of medical aid calls and stood by while medical aid responded.
The company's contract isn't cheap, $87,000 for a 3-month period. The money comes from the city's Public Safety and Vital Services Fund.
They've interrupted crimes. They've certainly helped with trespassing issues and those kinds of quality of life and loitering type complaints across the city.
Some business owners say they haven't seen too much of a change since the security began its patrols, but others say the opposite.
There for a while we were kind of nervous, for our customers, let alone our safety of our employees. We have seen a lot more security, a lot more police officers just patrolling the neighborhood, keeping it clean, doing really a good job.
Marco Torres, 17 News.
17 Health Watch now. Shelves are being cleared at pharmacies across Kern County as public health confirms the tripledemic of RSV, influenza, and COVID-19 is severely impacting our local emergency rooms. Those viruses are circulating at higher levels than usual for this time of year and are expected to continue to go up. According to the California Department of Public Health officials, it's important we all do our part and take preventative measures to ensure hospitals have the capacity to care for patients who may need life-saving treatment. Kern County Public Health, meantime, updated their Mpox dashboard yesterday to reflect one new case for a total of 20 local cases in Kern County. People who contract Mpox get a rash that goes through several stages, including scabs, before healing. Symptoms usually start within 3 weeks of exposure. If anyone has flu-like symptoms, they'll usually develop a rash 1 to 4 days later. Earlier this week, the World Health Organization renamed monkeypox as Mpox, citing racism concerns.
A new report is out shedding light on the need to continue to conserve water in California. According to the report, of the 400 reporting agencies, the majority believe they'll have enough supplies to meet the projected demand in the coming year, but about 20% of water agencies involved project a potential shortage. The agencies say the issue could be addressed through additional conservation measures. The state's water shortage contingency plan would call for a complete ban on outdoor watering.
New reaction coming from Bakersfield lawmakers after Governor Gavin Newsom called a special session next week. The governor saying he wants to hold oil companies accountable for the high cost of gas in California. Newsom says he wants a financial penalty on oil companies, arguing they're raking in record profits at the expense of Californians' pocketbooks. Democratic legislative leaders say they'll do their part to support the plan. Details about how the penalties would work and how the money would get back to Californians have not been released. This makes Republicans worried.
This proposal will only increase the cost of energy production in California. Let's temporarily suspend the state's gas tax. That would provide immediate relief. And let's expand gasoline production and refining capacity. That would allow us to increase supply to meet demand. The very fact that our gas prices are higher than any other state is because of his policies.
This is just the beginning of the debate. It could still take weeks for leadership to lay down a specific plan and for lawmakers to vote on it.
Well, cameras were rolling yesterday when the man accused of shooting and killing a baby in Merced was attacked in court. 18-year-old Devon Moshwane was sitting in the courtroom when another man attacked him from behind. Moshwane is charged with the shooting death of 9-month-old Darius Grigsby. Darius was shot in his stroller while out for a walk with his mother and his mother's friend in Merced last month. Investigators believe the friend was the intended target. Moshwane is due back in court next month.
All right, national news now. Crisis averted. Congress reached a deal to prevent a railroad strike and economic catastrophe. President Biden celebrated the move while hosting his first state dinner at the White House. NBC's Bree Jackson is in Washington with more.
États-Unis d'Amérique, vive la France et vive l'amitié entre.
A toast to diplomacy.
Cheers.
For the Biden administration's first state dinner, filled with pomp and pageantry. At the table, lobster and decorations, along with concerns about global issues like climate change and Russia's war with Ukraine.
We stand together against oppression and injustice. We stick up for one another and our democratic values.
We stand together, shoulder to shoulder, precisely to be entitled to say at the same time, we the people, and liberté, égalité, fraternité.
The United Front follows a rare sign of bipartisanship on Capitol Hill. Lawmakers reached a deal to prevent what could have been a costly nationwide rail strike. The agreement provides rail workers a 24% pay raise over 5 years.
I think we're going to see more and more actions like this where we are holding employers accountable and delivering what the workers deserve.
The measure now heads to President Biden's desk, but it will not include the 7 days of paid leave that some rail unions pushed for. Mr. Biden is promising to continue fighting for better benefits for the rail industry and beyond.
I'm going to go back and we're going to get paid leave, not just for rail workers, but for all workers.
With the rail strike averted, Congress must now focus on reaching a budget deal or risk a government shutdown. In order to prevent a government shutdown, Congress must reach a budget deal by December 16th. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
And also making headlines around the nation this morning, Twitter has suspended Ye, formerly Kanye West's account, again. Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, has been suspended after posting an image of a swastika inside the Star of David. Twitter's chief executive, Elon Musk, said the post violated a rule against inciting violence. The tweet was deleted shortly before Ye's account became no longer accessible. His page was soon replaced with a label saying, "Account suspended." The length of the suspension is not immediately clear. Meantime, an arrest warrant has been issued for former NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown. Florida police yesterday announced they are seeking to arrest the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer on suspicion of battery. The warrant stems from an incident on Monday involving Brown and the mother of 4 of his children. According to court documents, Brown, quote, threw a shoe at the woman, tossed the woman's belongings out of the house, and made threats to shoot her. Brown was last on an NFL field in January when he infamously took off his jersey and pads as he left the field in the middle of the game.
Another wild police pursuit out of Los Angeles County last night, this time in the city of Ontario. An armed suspect was arrested after leading officers on a high-speed chase from downtown Los Angeles to the Inland Empire, with speeds reaching 140 miles an hour as the driver weaved in and out of traffic on the eastbound 60 freeway. The man ditched the white Lexus after getting off the freeway at Archibald Avenue in Ontario and then ran off through traffic, trying to carjack several drivers. But he was unsuccessful. Officers swarmed the suspect, taking him down and putting him in handcuffs. The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.